with our thoughts and our prayers are with the University of Virginia and their staff, the families on the tragic event that took place. And we're certainly praying for all involved in that situation. And terrible, but our thoughts, our prayers are certainly with them. Ole Miss, obviously very explosive on offense, running the ball as good as anybody in the SEC. Pretty balanced still, though, with about 265, about 225, somewhere in there. Very explosive, have great skill. Mingo, Judkins, a running back, Dart. I mean, really, really fine talent, skill-wise. And I mean, that's not saying Heath, Watkins. I mean, they've got really good wideouts. Defensively disruptive. Run a 3-2-6. Can get after the quarterback. Have been blitzing more of late. I think more in the run for the run game. Trying to slow down opponents' runs against them. But they're playing extremely well. Obviously lost a close game Saturday, but they play extremely hard, well coached. We are looking forward to having a night game here. I think it's our first, I think it's our first night game of the year. I know it is our first night game at home. And we're looking forward to another opportunity.
Coach, status of KJ, is he going to be able to practice this week as normal, and prognosis for Saturday?
We anticipate him practicing. We anticipate him practicing today. We anticipate him playing on Saturday. Those things certainly change. They have over the last 2 weeks, but I know he feels better than he has since the Auburn game. We'll have to see how he is at practice, to be perfectly honest with you, but I think I know he feels better than he has in the last 2 weeks.
Given the back and forth nature, I guess, the backup quarterback, or, Cade and Malik, is it an open competition with those guys if KJ can't go, or how do you?
Yeah, I mean, it would be an open competition. I think obviously you'd have to. The problem that we have a little bit, guys, is the unknowing of KJ in game planning. Especially it was a little easier if Malik's the guy because there are some similar talent, run dual threat, even though Cade made some nice runs the other day in the game. But, I think our team and our staff, and we just want to know if he's going to be available or not, if he's going to play. And I think our team needs him, or we need to go the entire week and say he's not going to. I think a lot of that will be said today. Cade and Malik will battle for who would play in that second spot if KJ is not able to.
You mentioned on Saturday that you had changed practice up a little bit at the end of last week and done a little bit of different kind of motivating tactics. Is any of that going to carry over into this week?
Absolutely. I mean, we lost the game, but it would be hard to say that we didn't play an excellent game on defense. We haven't necessarily done that. So we're going to take what we think helped us, the way we practice, some of the things that we talked about, the way we prepared before the game. We're going to take those and continue to do those things. And then we've got to get our offense going. A lot of it will dictates with a healthy KJ Jefferson as well. But if we don't have him, we've got to do a better job of hanging our hat on something, throwing the ball on first down, loosen up the box a little bit more. When we do that, we're not playing fast either. A lot of it is we're not getting that first down. Once we get a first down, we can play a little bit faster. We haven't been able to do that. Those are some things that certainly we talked about yesterday as a staff.
Talked about with the run game slowing down a little bit, just the blocking issues, but you also mentioned just an inability to break tackles. Just what can you attribute that to? Because it didn't seem like that was an issue for these running backs early on.
I don't know that we've ever been, in all honesty, a great skill guy breaking a lot of tackles. Now we've had some huge holes that they run through, and there's a difference in breaking a tackle when you're between me and that, and then when we're between you and I. There's a difference. You have more space. You know you can throw a fastball. You can run sideways and cut. You can do different things. We're not getting those opportunities, so it shows a little bit more when you're closer to a guy. It's harder to make them miss, harder to run over them. But LSU's back did, and the first guy, it seems right now, whether it be a ankle tackle or whether it be whatever, seems to be getting us down. And we've got to certainly work on that. And a lot of us just conscious. We got to run with a demeanor of the first man is not going to get me on the ground. And I think that, we've got to be better there.
Sam, do you have an update on Slusher and Ant Brown's status this week?
I don't know exactly yet what we're going to do. They're going to practice. Obviously, Ant's on the scout team, so he'll go there. Slusher will go back up with the defense and not the scout team, and we'll make a decision. When's the next time we meet? Tuesday, Wednesday? Wednesday. I'll know for sure then. By that time, I've got to make that decision by then for sure.
Sticking with the defensive side of the ball, just how much confidence has your defense gained the last 2 weeks? I think there's 13 points in the last 6 quarters.
6 quarters, yeah.
How important have those games been, just given the offense you're going to face this week?
Well, again, the game's a lot about matchups, but it's also about the demeanor that you play. I felt like over the last 6 quarters, game and a half, that we have played like, I'm talking about chasing the ball, the physicality. We played like we did what I thought our first 2 years were. I can't, I don't know why we didn't earlier. I think a lot of it has to do with we might not have been comfortable with the guys around us because there was a lot of shuffling going on, but regardless, we're playing much better now, and we've got to get we've got to win. And our kids, you kind of saw from, the loss at Liberty, the way that they played, I thought was really good. And I think we're just playing faster. We're swarming the ball better, and we're getting after the quarterback a lot better.
Coach, in year 3, you kind of built expectations up, because when you got here, I don't know that there were a lot of expectations outside the room over there with you guys. But in year 3 now, is it somewhat of a good thing that people are kind of upset you lost to A&M and Liberty, thinking maybe you should have won those games in the past? You've won them, but at least their expectations are up. For the program, it's going back up. I mean, is that a good thing in some ways? It's
a great thing. I mean, I'm the head coach at Arkansas. I'm going to take, if we were 10-0, people wouldn't like me or like what I'm doing or decisions I make. And that comes with the job. I mean, that's just what it is. Is it right? Is it not? I mean, I don't have time to talk about that, but you're going to get criticized, and we're 5-5, and we've been, we lost to A&M by 2. Last year, if you go back, we beat Mississippi State, at the end of the game. We beat LSU in overtime, or we're 7-5 last year, or 7 and whatever it is, 2-2, 7-6, I guess. We haven't been able to win the close games. 2 of them weren't close, and really, Alabama was a 5-point game going into the fourth quarter. We've got to figure out how to win close games, and you're going to have to do that every year If you don't, your record's going to be from 9-10 wins to 6-5 wins. It's just how it is. And I think if you look over most all the teams in the SEC, it's that way as well. With being 5-5 and all the expectations, I'd rather have the expectations be high and take take the criticism than they go, oh, well, you played LSU to 13-10 and they are West Division champs. We don't want any of that. We want to win, and it doesn't matter who we play. So did we go faster than even what I thought we would last year? Probably. But I was happy with it, and we're disappointed where we are, but we can wallow in it or we can get bowl eligible. And I think you saw Saturday that our team wants to go to postseason play, and I think you'll see it again Saturday.
In a league like the SEC, though, last year you had KJ for 13 games. Yeah. This year you 2 games you haven't had him. He's been beat up and some more beat up than last year and some others. How important is injuries? I mean, I know that's Captain Obvious question, but just, how much is having people healthy, key players, a big thing? I think it is. I think it's a big, obviously there are ones for a reason. And then if you have a special guy like KJ, a special guy like Catalan, those guys are special, could play for anybody in our league and hopefully will have a pro career and things of that nature. When you lose your key guys like that, who also, it's ironic, and everybody's going to say I'm making an excuse. You're the one that asked the question. I didn't. Okay, so you asked a question, I'm answering it. But we had 4 captains walk out there the other night, and I'm going, well, KJ's one of them. Wagner's one of them. So 2 of your 4 leaders out there are not playing, And so, we did learn a lesson from COVID, that if you cross-train and different things of that nature, then you can go out and win games. Now, we didn't win a lot of them. I understand that, but you can go out and win games if you're prepared. And this year, it's just been a rash of injuries in the secondary, and we never quite got on target or got comfortable with each other until the last game and a half, probably. And then when you lose, and anybody, you go out in the conference and you lose your best player, your quarterback, it's going to affect your football team. And it's not only about affecting your team, it's affecting how people play against you. If you've noticed the box numbers, the amount of blitzes we're getting on rundowns now versus what we did before with KJ running, it's different. It's a different number count. It's a different schematics that people are using against us. So it's going to take away some of your rushing yards because they're not afraid of you. They're not afraid of that slant anymore. They're not afraid of that go route off of a play action read. They're not afraid of it. And part of that is having the confidence. We need to have the confidence in who's ever there as a 2 that we still do that, because we got to back people off of us.
You mentioned Ole Miss is blitzing. I think they're 3rd in the conference in sacks. Is there any kind of pattern to it? Are they sending different guys? What's it look like?
There's a pattern to it. It's a game by game type pattern, what they do. I think it's an attack off of I think their blitzing is primarily to stop the run. And obviously they have their, what I call pick twist blitz, where they'll walk up their Willie linebacker and he's really a 3 technique, but they're using it as what I would call a TE, but really it's a WE, which has been really, really good for them because they're fast and quick. They have gone lately into a much more movement blitzing style than what they had been earlier in the year when they were giving up a lot of rushing yards. They're defending better in the secondary. I think that's probably why they're able to do that. But there's really not a pattern to it unless it's just game by game. We have an idea of what we think they're going to do against us because they've had success with their defense against similar styles that we are. so we have an idea of what they're going to do. And the bottom line is they're either going to bring a blitz to the back or they're going to bring it away from him. And that's what they've proven to do. And they may do both, but most of the time they start the game with a formula of how they're going to adjust to where your back is and stay with it.
I want to also ask you about the series with them. You know, you were involved in the Henry Heave, the 52-51.
Yeah.
Last year. I mean, both games had big 2-point conversions. It's just been a wild deal. And I just wonder what you think about maybe the back and forth you've had with Ole Miss.
Well, it's always exciting to play Ole Miss, and especially with Lane being the coach, and all that. He's, a popular man, great coach, all those type things. And he's got them, he's got them going. But it's always exciting because the fans are going to be excited about the game because there's going to be a lot of offense, and I'm sure they can use that as I don't think their defense. I didn't say that. I mean, last year it was 52-51. I mean, I'd say that's a lot of offense, and I know they've got a really good offensive team, and we do too. And if we can get our quarterback back, I think it'll be one well of a game, just like these other ones have been. If I thought we had any advantage on that, it'd be playing at home at night. Our fans haven't left us, and they'll be sold out just like they were Saturday. And they're disappointed, and guess what? So am I, very. And we're working hard to change that. But I understand their disappointment. But they're going to show up and raise a lot of heck on Saturday, and we're going to need them to. But I think that's what the series is all about. We recruit a lot of the same kids and things of that nature. So obviously Sam Carter left and went over there and different things. So there's certainly a lot to play for, and we're not bowl eligible, and we sure need to get that way.
Coach, specifically on their offense, Judkins, the running back, and then their offensive line, what have you seen from them that makes their running game so successful?
They've got one's from Conway, but they've got two really good tackles. Pettis is a huge man. I'm kind of interested to see how big he is when I walk. I've had some big linemen. This guy's a mountain. They've got the three interior guys played together for a long time. And Jeremy James was the guy I recruited at Georgia, and he ended up going to Ole Miss and he's played tackle, but I think they really are in sync. They got those three veterans in there, really are in sync together timing wise, and they pull really well, run a lot of different offense. They just spread you out and they flood zones and different things. Judkins is a really good running back, really good freshman, can make you miss, catches the ball extremely well. I think he's a big time threat coming out of the backfield, and got really good speed. But he's probably, Dart, transferring in there certainly helped him big time. But he's probably the guy right now that him and Zach and Evans, but he makes them go now, and they're hard to tackle. They run downhill. They remind me a lot of, that attack of what Mississippi State, they had those backs that just went, and that's what these guys do.
Sam, how'd you think Tykees played the other day, first SEC start? Ricky was saying that's always a tough deal.
Tykees, and Cody and I were just talking about before I came over here. I thought for his first start against a really, really good opponent in LSU, I thought he did a really good job. I did. I mean, obviously the sack at the end of the game, but yet even that one there was, our running back bumped him, now he was getting beat and things, but our running back bumped his left hip and had him open even faster. But I thought he, for his first start and all those things, I thought he held up pretty darn good.
And then Dart, what have you talked about their running game? What do you see from Dart at quarterback?
He's a better runner than I want him to be. He's smart, accurate, not afraid to throw a back shoulder throw. I mean, he's good at that. But I mean, he's got some really good receivers that can catch the ball as well. But he seemed to me like be very comfortable in the offense. I'm really concerned about his running ability because he's good at that.
Or Ole Miss and you too, but Ole Miss and LSU, just what they did in the transfer portal, looking at last year, I think Ole Miss brought in like 17 guys or something. LSU brought in a ton. You guys brought in a lot.
Yeah.
Is that changing your perception as maybe even as the year goes on and just how much an impact the portal can have?
Yes. What's happened now is you're not locked to 25. You're locked to 85. And so, if you look at Ole Miss, I think 5 or 6 of their starters on defense are transfer portal guys, and offenses, I don't think quite that many, but they've got a lot of receivers that transferred in there, not necessarily starting, some are, but that transferred in there. Obviously, Zach Evans is a transfer guy, Dart, so, yeah, it has. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm not going to sit here and be bullheaded and lose a whole bunch of games and all that stuff, but because I don't believe that maybe that's the right way to do it. You know what I mean? We had our share of transfer portal too. I hate the fact that we can't go and we can and recruit, 20, 25 high school kids every year. But the world doesn't wait on you long enough. You know what I mean? If you're trying to build a program within 4 or 5 years, you get to year 3 or whatever, and you're gone. You know what I mean? So, and everybody wants to win now. So yes, I think it certainly has changed the way that I've looked at the transfer portal too. It's almost like for us, it's always been, where is our immediate need? That's where we're going to go. And that's it. We're going to tell the kids that we have on our team that, we need either depth or we need a starter there. When we do that, we know that. And I've been very conscious about that for our team. But now I think if you have a really good player, regardless of what position he is, and he wants to come, you take him, and before I wouldn't do that, before I was like, no, I'm going to be loyal to these guys. They're plenty good enough for us to win the SEC and stuff like that. But a part of that too, Trey, has become with all the injuries that we've had this year. Your backup better be as good as your starter or close to it, and that's maybe shown a little bit for us this year, where if we had went in the transfer portal a little bit more, maybe we'd be a little bit better off record-wise. And hopefully team-wise too.
I don't think you've been asked about Dalton, but how's he doing?
He's going to practice some today. My philosophy on it is that we don't really ever say a kid's out if he can do something. What we do, we always go to Indy and we check him to see where he's at an individual. And if he's capable of doing a little bit more. Sometimes, the philosophy is to get them out to practice. You know what I mean? And sometimes they're not as hurt or not as sore or not as whatever as they think they are. And obviously, if you've got the right kid, he wants to play and things of that nature. Our coaches can look at him. I can look at him, get a feel of it. That's what we're going to do with Dalton today to see how far he can – see what he can do and the length of time, with also being smart. We're going as spiders today, but just like we did last Monday, but kind of see how far he can go.
I'd say maybe the results have been better overall since Barry's moved to the sideline. What's the benefit? Just being able to look the players in the eye and that kind of stuff, or what do you think?
Well, I think part of that certainly is being present. The kids have a lot of respect for him. He's up there, he's away from it. Now, we won 9 games last year with him upstairs. You know what I mean? I think, to be perfectly honest with you, I think we decided that with him on the sidelines, he could explain the changes and things like we changed our unbalanced formation Saturday, what we were going to do, what we went into the game it didn't work, and we changed it. I think we thought that his presence on the sideline and his ability to make changes himself, besides through the headsets, I thought we needed that, and I think we felt like it would help us. And so that was probably the original reason why we asked him to come down.
Is that you saying, hey, let's try to mix things up, or his idea?
Yeah, I mean, if it's not working, you got to, you can be bullheaded, or you got to try to fix it, and so that was, I believe that was a BYU game, I think, maybe, and it worked, and it has worked. So he'll stay down there. Obviously, the advantage is you can see a little bit better up there. You see what's going on, but we really have a good communication over the headsets from up there down, and we believe in the guys up. So we're going to be in good shape, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if the weather had anything to do with the scoring, but you're playing at night. It might even be colder.
I hope so.
So you said you maybe the fans are expecting a shootout, but it looked like the weather might have impacted the scoring last week.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
It probably did, Tom, to be honest with you. And the colder, the better, and obviously we have to score points too. We have to run our offense too, but we're rooting for a freeze out if we can get it,
On LSU's last possession, the one that started with 4 minutes.
Yeah.
There was a 3rd and 4 pass, and McLaughlin hit the guy, and
it
was tough to see from our angle, but you did not like
Yeah.
what was ruled on the field. How did that go for you?
Not good. I mean, what can I say? Nothing.
You can say whatever you want.
We've sent it into the SEC office, and I'm sure we'll get something back from them, but no, I didn't particularly like it.